I'm here at Rockville Ring Bearing right now, and Doug pulled the head off of the Jeepster engine, and he's in the process now of just checking out the bottom end. But you can see right now, there it is right now. Looks pretty clean in there, actually. So this is the engine that the guy said that they put a new crank in it, and that was about like 5,600 miles ago, back in 1969. And then after they did that, the car just sat for many years. So we're going to see what happens with this thing. Should be pretty interesting. But it's pretty clean on the inside. You know, Doug, this thing looks really nice and clean inside.
It doesn't look bad, no.
No, it doesn't look bad. So, but don't let looks deceive you. You don't know. It could be a total mess. Everything else in this car has been a total disaster. So, so Doug's looking it over right now.
It has many miles after it was rebuilt, though. I mean, it doesn't look like it, or else they took very good care of it.
Well, I can guarantee you one thing. He never took good care of it.
Yeah.
So we cross our fingers. Like I said, on this engine, I'm hoping that all you have to do is just put rings or something in it. I really don't want to do the whole rebuild because, whatever, you know, no one would want to do a whole rebuild on this thing just so it doesn't smoke. But we'll see what happens. It is what it is. And whatever he finds, I'm going to do. So I just told Doug that I got the body right now at Bernardo's, and he's not going to be able to get to it till probably the end of this month because he's moving his shop now. And that body's a real mess. So I got plenty of time. So Doug doesn't have to rush on this rebuild.
That's good news.
Because Doug is completely backed up right now. And he made it very clear to me when I dropped it off. He said, "Hey, Chuck, listen, I'm backed up." He says, "I don't know." I said, "That's okay. I mean, it's not a problem for me at all." But most of you guys know who Doug is, and he's probably the only guy that we take our stuff to anyway. But I just wanted to do some documentation on my Jeepster, and I want to include Doug in this thing too. So if you guys ever need any future work done,
I appreciate that, Chuck.
yeah, Doug appreciates it, and we appreciate Doug. Works both ways.
Get these pal nuts off. They were so afraid of nuts and bolts coming loose. Don't think they understood the technology of how nuts and bolts really work.
How's that? What's that?
Well, I mean, because it'll stretch the bolt and it'll lock itself in place. It doesn't need a pal nut to keep it in place.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
It's just like the British that like to tie everything up with wire ties.
Yes.
Mechanics wire. And it's like, you don't really need to do that.
Well, I remember, like, well, in the Model A's, everything.
Everything was tied.
But that's because of the vibration, though.
True, yeah.
You know, these are
Same
pretty.
like a motorcycle.
Yeah, but these things are pretty smooth.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of surprised me on this, too. These engines run really smooth. At least this one did. You know. It's a dinky little engine, though. look at the counterweights.
Yeah.
Look at the counterweights in that crankshaft.
It's very stout, though. I mean, everything was
Pretty heavy.
was built to last a long time.
Isn't that cool? It's a very, very simple little engine. I mean, it really.
You want it to be if it's in all the Army Jeeps. You want to be able to repair it in the field.
Now this is the same one as the Army Jeep, yeah?
Pretty much.
There's not much difference on it. I like the way the head is though too, because the way that's set up, you don't have to worry about an intake manifold,
No, that is nice.
so you're not gonna get any leaks.
Yeah.
Isn't this something? Look at the counterweights in that crank though.
And
Wow.
bolt on.
Yeah. Did they have different weights?
I don't think so.
They just had the standard ones, huh?
Yeah.
Aluminum pistons too. Aluminum pistons, huh?
It should be.
Yeah, it looks like it. I can see the inside of the pistons. It's aluminum.
I know, like Chevys from the 30s had cast iron pistons, but most of the modern stuff had aluminum pistons.
Oh, and have regular bearings.
Yeah.
They don't have Babbitts.
No.
That's something. They didn't have Babbitts back in the day?
Yeah, but this is 50,
Huh?
right?
This is 50, right.
No, not,
But I mean,
not 50.
the Army Jeeps,
No,
they had inserts like
I
this?
believe so.
Now, how do those
Right, we
bear?
got 19, this bearing was made in 1967.
The 69 it was overhauled.
Yeah, it's a 30 under bearing. So he probably did put a crank in it. Or he had the original one turned, one or the other.
No, he said in the documentation they put a new crank in it.
Okay.
And that was at 5,600 miles ago, supposedly. But she was burning oil like crazy. You saw it.
Oh yeah, it was.
Now,
Yeah, I think the pistons are going to be bad.
Or it could have been the fuel pump.
Oh yeah, just dumping fuel in there. Yeah.
Could have been.
Cleaning it out.
So they even have dates on the bearing shells?
Aftermarket ones, yeah.
Oh, how do you like that? Boy, that engine is clean.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That's darn clean, yeah. They painted inside of it too.
Yeah, it's like the lip tall.
Now, what's the point of doing that?
They say that the oil will run down to the pan faster. I mean, it's a very marginal thing. I mean,
It's not a
how
big
much
thing.
difference is that really going to make?
Nah, because I mean, this is not a race engine for crying out loud. I mean, oil running down to the pan.
Yeah, but
This sucker's not. It's not
Well,
going. It's.
Yeah, if it can't find its way to the pan, then there's a problem.
Yeah, I guess so. Now, will you be able to see if the rings are stuck when you take this thing out?
Be able to.
There you go. There's the first piston coming out of this sucker. How do the rings look, Doug?
Well, they're not stuck. Right here is I believe that is a carbon trap. I don't think there's ever a ring there. But they are chrome rings and don't appear to be stuck, but looking at the piston, how it's washed to one side, it was definitely burning oil from the rings.
Okay, it was during.
Yeah. Take a ring off real quick, stick it back in the cylinder, and see what kind of a gap we got. There's the gap there. The gap should be like around 16 thousandths. That'd even be on the high side for a bore that small. Let's see what we actually have. That's an easy 22. Going up to 32. Yeah, the gap is over twice the amount it should be.
Okay.
So that's indicating that the rings and cylinders are worn out.
All right.
So
Okay.
that would be one cause, and maybe the intake guides are bad also.
Okay. Well, that's a good. I don't know. That's a good sign, a bad sign, but we don't know what this thing. What's it at though? Yeah. As far as what's the boring in this thing.
True.
So how much we can take off on it. So that's it for right now for this recording. I'm going to just talk to Doug, and this is enough for now. It's 8.5 minutes.